Yeah, so I suppose a good place to start is just to have a chat about what actually goes on in the visual communication design program. And when a lot of people think about visual communication, they think about it in terms of the different types of outputs. So within visual communication, we cover print and editorial design, illustration, brand communication, moving image, motion graphics, video, AR and VR, and there's also information design. So as you can see, it's pretty broad and pretty varied. So in essence, we break the degree into two parts. So the first couple of years are spent are more skills focused, so a student will gain a lot of confidence and proficiency in a wide range of technical skills, also processes for developing ideas. The briefs will be quite prescribed, so you'll be given a really clear objective, you'll be given a step-by-step process on how to reach those objectives, and you'll also be told, the mode of working that you'll need to use to address it. So it might be a series of posters, it might be a multi-page document, or it might be a website. And the real cool thing about these couple of years is you get to try your hand at a lot of different things and gain a lot of confidence, but also work out your particular interest within this diverse area of visual communication. Then as you progress through the degree, the objective is that you'll leave as a real independent, creative and critical thinker. So the briefs become a lot more open and the students get a lot more creative freedom. And this culminates in that fourth year where students get to pick an issue of their choosing, they get to research it, develop their own brief, and then they can respond to that brief and hopefully resolve it any way they like. Yeah, we're really active in a lot of awards, and our students really excel both nationally and internationally. So they've done really well in the New Zealand Best Awards, the Red Dots in Singapore and Berlin, and also there is the International Society of Typographic Design, which is an international society that students have done really well with. Yeah, so the cool thing about working at the College of Creative Arts is you get to use the gear from across all the different areas. So within visual communication, if you want to get your hands dirty, we've got really great screen printing facilities. There's also some wonderful old printing and letterpresses that they can use. There's the 3D workshop over in Industrial, so you can use good old skill saw and lathe. There's a fab lab, so we've got things such as 3D printers, laser cutters, photography studios, lighting setups, green screens. Students work both independently and in groups depending on the assignment, but in general the first couple of years are independent, but over that time the students work on all the assignments collectively, they get to know each other really well, they get a real common understanding of design, and this helps them work collaboratively in a real constructive way down the track. In the last couple of years there are a lot more group projects because we think it's really important that you get to learn how to work with each other, and design is a social thing, so those are important skills to have. So in visual communication we've developed several different pathways that students can take, and this involves the core assignments, but also depends on the electives that they choose. And this really helps students focus in on an area of interest, or maybe kind of develop a level of expertise. So the pathways we've developed are, there's brand, there's information design, there's typography, there's interactivity, and there's illustration. So so those are areas that students can really pursue if that's what they wish. So while visual communication is really diverse, something that really, a thread that joins them all is this real focus on how design can be used for good. So within visual communication, we're not really interested in selling you the latest fad. What we're really interested in is briefs that highlight how design can be used to contribute to society in a really meaningful way. So within visual communication design, and I think probably across the whole college, the lectures are really hands-on in the studio environment, so we work a lot with the students to guide them, facilitate them to reach their objectives. We also really encourage a really supportive and collaborative studio environment, so there's lots of students working with each other to help, whether it's giving feedback or critique or generating ideas. We also get students from the senior years to come down and help out, and this is all part of trying to soften those barriers between the year groups. And to complement that, there's a couple of fantastic student-led mentoring initiatives. One's called tahi rua toru whā, and that involves just informal meetups where you can do everything from chatting about what courses you might want to take. The senior students might give you advice about your work, or they might even just tell you where you can get some good noodles in town that are good and cheap. There's also Band from Brews, which has now been running for about 5 or 6 years, and that's where students invite recent graduates to come in and talk about that transition from university life to work life. And you get to kind of make those connections over a couple of pieces of pizzas and a few beers. So great opportunities for mixing not just with your year group but across the different year groups as well. It's a really exciting time to be a designer, and there's lots of great opportunities out there. So we've got students who go out and work, whether it's in designing publications or branding for studios. A lot of students work in the more online environments, so whether it's thinking about user experiences or user interfaces or just the general marketing. But what we're also seeing is a real growing demand for students who can use their design skills and processes at a strategic level. Especially government agencies, businesses and social enterprises meet the needs of the people they're serving in a real kind of meaning and human-centred way.